hot outside.
I'd hate to be the camera guy, but it's a good thing we got AC inside of there. And so that's great. We're taking a look at the XCMG SV12 Skid Steer from XCMG. So, as I just mentioned, standard on a nice hot day, I think we're talking 28 degrees today. As long as we keep those windows closed and the door closed, we got AC in there. So that's gonna add a lot of comfort to our operators. When we take a look at other features from the outside of this machine here, one of the most common things to need to do in a skid steer is change a bucket, whether you're going from a dig out bucket to a cleaning bucket, to a street sweeper, to an attachment, an auger that you're putting on there. And so what we have standard with our SV and TV12s is that we have a hydraulic quick coupler. So we can still see the red handles right here, but this is going to be operated hydraulically from the cab. So flick a switch, those arms are going to collapse, and we're going to be able to kick this bucket off and put it on. When we think about the lift capacity and when we're looking at this bucket, that's important. We're talking about total tip capacity of this machine at about 8,900 pounds. And we're talking about 2,990 in that range, just under 3,000 pounds for a lift capacity on this machine. And so you've got a lot of room to lift a lot of material. And that sort of gets to our numbers here. We have an SV12, so this is our skid steer, which means we're running with tired machines. V stands for the idea that it's a vertical lift straight up and down, which is the advantage to you. It's gonna get up to try and clear those batter boards on the sides of the box. And then we go with the 12, which is a 1.2 yard total capacity bucket. So if we needed to go that size, that's not necessarily what they're coming with, but that's the size that you're able to put on here. So you have a lot of lift capacity to be able to get to that nearly 3,000 pounds of lift that you're hoping to accomplish. When we talk about cab controls, one of the things that's integrated into each of the joysticks are the buttons to come into this electronic connector right here. So this is a 14-pin electrical connector, which allows you to run electronically controlled attachments on the front. So if you have an excavator attachment that you would normally mount onto this standard skid steer attachment system, and you're used to being able to flick switches and have your boom and stick and bucket tilt, all that work on that excavator, that will keep working here. So all of the wires for the 14 are running to the joystick so that you can run those attachments. We do see really clearly the badge here for 2-speed. This machine has 2 speeds at the motor. So we have a gear motor. It's a Rexroth motor design, driving chains to both the wheels on either side. So that's great. Rexroth, tried and true, tested hydraulic motor in the industry. And those are going to be powered by a Rexroth hydraulic pump as well. So we have a variable displacement Rexroth pump group, which most of us are used to in this compact construction industry. If we come to the back of the machine, we get our engine door. What we'll notice really clearly here is our lighting package. We do have signal lights built into this machine, so we have left, right, and hazards built in. We have backup lighting, and then right here, we do have our backup camera. So that camera will show up in our display up in the dash. As soon as we start going in reverse, the joystick, we'll hear the alarm go beep, beep, beep. And once it starts to beep, we're gonna see that reverse camera show up in our display. When we take a look inside the engine bay, our service points are fairly easy to get a hold of. Take a look, first things first, we need to breathe. This engine needs to breathe, so here's our air filter. Our air filter commonly has this pre-filter, this little duck bill right here. And as much as, you know, they collect the dust there, that's what they're supposed to do. Comes up, it collects in the tip of this, so one of the normal service intervals you gotta do, sort of pop that off, give it a knock, and then you can throw it back on. Right beside that's our fuel, so we are able to quickly and easily get a hold of our diesel fill. Below that, we have our fuel water separator. Above that, we have our coolant expansion tank. This is a Yanmar 72 horsepower engine inside here, powering our hydraulic systems. Our dipsticks conveniently located as soon as we open up the door. Our fill down below. And this is a high pressure common rail engine from Yanmar. So we get all the advantages of electronic fuel delivery, electronic fuel timing, We get that instant response that comes from electronic controls. As soon as we feel the load on the machine, the engine's gonna respond. That's gonna make this a very responsive experience for you. On top of the fuel water separator, we also have our secondary filter conveniently located here. And then to the left of that, we have our hydraulic tank, our hydraulic fill, our hydraulic sight glass, our disconnect here. And so this is our electrical disconnect to be able to turn it off. We can lock it with a padlock, and that's going to increase the security of the machine. We do have a battery just below, and that's an Optima battery. So anyone who knows what these cylindrical AGM batteries are like, you know you're getting a good battery that's going to give you lots of cranking power in the winter. And if this is what you're buying for snow removal, that's going to help you out. If for some reason you're operating this machine and you run it out of fuel or something happens that the engine shuts down and now the loader frame is blocking your door, if the operator needs to get out, they are able to pull a tab in the back, and this rear glass panel, the weather seal comes out of it, and they are simply able to exit out the back window. That is something that's become quite common in skid steer, is needing that emergency escape for whatever reason. Even sometimes we start running and you're doing a construction site and the skid steer's buried. Next thing you know, it's in the drink, in the pond. We do have that at backup to get out of this machine fairly easily for the operator. So as soon as we get in the cab, what we can see, we have our rear view mirror up here. We also have our backup camera that's available right here. We have good visibility over our shoulder. Of course, there's a bit of a lift arm pedestal. That's quite common. Nothing we can really do about that one. We have that on both sides. We do have sliding windows, both sides. So if you do want to have them open, you're not running AC, this does create a really great breeze. Or if you're waiting for the AC to actually kick in, it does take a couple minutes. Open those windows, give them a shut, and now you're going to be able to cool the cab down. Our AC controls are on the right-hand side. Our radio controls are on the left-hand side. And we have two keypads conveniently located right here. When we get into the machine, our key is on the right-hand side. We simply close our lap bar like this, and we can fire it up, just like that. We have both a foot throttle and we have a hand throttle. So depending on how you're used to driving a machine, from my experience, there's sort of two camps here. Some people love to drive with the foot throttle. They like to put their hydraulics in control and then they use their foot to drive for speed, or they're lifting and they want their foot to control the speed that it lifts. If that's you, we've got that for you. If you're more of a set the throttle and use the hydraulics to meter it, we've got that for you too. On the right-hand side, we have a hand throttle knob. You can turn that up to full after you've got this unit running. And now we have the ability to meter the hydraulics using the joystick, depending on if you want a low grip, a high grip. But either way, your elbows land on the armrest really well, and you've got the ability to have the controls. These top buttons right here are all mapped to the 14-pin connector, so we have the ability to have all of those controls. We have our signal lights up here. We have the ability to go into our crawl or snail mode, and this yellow button right here has the ability for us to go from rabbit to turtle. So remember, we have 2-speed, conventional, rabbit, turtle, but then we have the ability to go into a snail mode, and that snail mode is programmed or set by your operator. You can set what your snail mode is, and that way when you change your drive controls, you will have a better creep function. So maybe you're used to hearing it as creep instead of snail. But when we get in, close that lap bar, start the unit up, and now we can run this with one button. There's a hydraulic lockout button right here. Normally when we get in, the park brake is on and the hydraulics are not on. The minute we hit hydraulics on, normally hydraulics become active, the park brake becomes released, and we can drive. Now, if we're doing that and you find that you are running an excavator, so you want to fire it up, you want to enable the hydraulics, but you don't want the unit to drive because you're using an excavator attachment off the front, you can go ahead and hit the park brake button and it'll simply prevent the drive function from running while you're still getting all the rest of your hydraulics. On this left-hand side, with your hydraulics disabled, so turned off, the lower left corner is your ISO and H button. When you turn it into the H pattern, that's going to give you forward will be both sticks forward, back both sticks back, and then you'll have the traditional skid steer stick movements. If you're in ISO, now you're back to the ability of being able to operate your bucket and then also be able to operate your drive. So right stick, left stick split. We also have the ability for us to have the reversing fan on this left-hand side. And like I said, that's gonna change that cooling fan to blow instead of suck. On the right-hand side, we have our lights. So our front lights, our rear lights, our beacon, our hazard lights. Our signal lights are these yellow buttons on the joystick so we can steer left, right, or put a hazard lights on. We do have an exhaust system delay. And so this is a 72 horsepower Yanmar engine. It is Tier 4 compliant, stage 5, but it does not have DEF, so no diesel exhaust fluid in this system, but it does still have a DOC and DPF. So it still has the requirement, still meets all of our emissions requirements. But if you're running in a combustible environment, you have the ability to inhibit or delay the regen. So you can hit that button. You cannot hit that forever. Eventually it requires that regen. So make sure you get out of that combustible environment. You get to a parking lot and you allow that regen to run. If you get too far, that you've allowed your filters in your exhaust system to plug up, just like every other Tier 4 engine. If you plug that up too much, you're going to need a service technician to come out to regen that unit. And that's not a warranty call. So make sure that you are keeping on top of these emissions things. You cannot delay the emissions forever. You have to let it do its thing. Those buttons are on the right-hand side here. We have on the left-hand side is we do have a washer fluid. That washer fluid sitting up in the door. We do have a washer arm that's going to keep that front door clean for you so you have some great visibility to see what you're doing. All right, so this has been the SV12 from XCMG. If you're interested in this machine, drop us a line here in Calgary and Lethbridge. We have machines at both locations. All the information is going to be down below in this video for our link. You'll find us on www.foothillsgroup/XCMG. You'll find our phone number down in the listing below in the description. Feel free to drop us a line if you have any questions about any of the XCMG product, but specifically the SV12, so you can move more material for less.